Good morning, AO Tribe. I hope everybody's doing well out there. My name is Shelley Merrell. I own a fire protection company in Ventura, California. Um, I am here to answer some questions, and Facebook is popping up different messages. Uh, I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, y'all will see me. I think I'm live. Anyway, I wanted to take just a minute to say to everybody who watches this, you should be extremely, extremely proud of yourself. Just being a part of this group and kind of taking in all of the information that's out here, the resources, all that good stuff. Hi, Anisa. Oh, I miss you. You need to come to our accountability group, girl. Okay, anyway, back to what I was saying. With all of the resources in the portal, and Sean has worked, hi Heather, Sean has worked so hard at getting all of this information readily available, just right at the, hi Robin, at the touch of your fingertips. Definitely take advantage, but be proud of yourself for being a part of this organization and wanting to learn how to do it right, and seeking support, seeking mentors, seeking coaching, whatever the case may be, or even if you're already successful, we never know everything. So there's always something to learn here, and I want to thank Sean especially for providing this platform so that we have somewhere to go to help us get answers. Anyway, that's my little soapbox view. Be proud of yourself for being here. I'm going to answer some questions, just basically giving answers from my perspective, what I've experienced, and what I would do if I was in your shoes. Hi, Robin. Okay. My first question is from John Santiago. As a first time founder, you have a few mentors and team members that have helped you build throughout your journey. You're introducing new people into the mix, which can almost always change the dynamic in a group. How do you manage egos in these situations? The business description is we are a startup record label. That's very cool. Designed to support artists with services never offered through a label within the music industry. We are about to launch. Shit's getting real. I like that. That's awesome. Okay, John. Egos will always be an issue. Anytime you have more than one person involved, there's going to be an ego. I've dealt with many egos. In my experience, I had a person who had a very, very big ego who thought that, he could be disrespectful. And I ended up packing up his entire desk. I had his check ready. I had everything at the door waiting for him to arrive at our shop. I gave him his stuff and he was gone, you know. And interestingly enough, he's still in this industry, and I still hear stories about what an asshole he is. So, some people will never change, um, and you're always going to have those egos. So the you're never going to be able to control what somebody else does or what somebody else thinks. But what you can do is always go back to those core values. Sean talks about this a lot. Having your entire team focused on those core values, and when somebody goes outside of those core values, you can more you can easily hold them accountable, whether that's disciplinary action or termination of their job. By having those in place, everybody is on the same level playing field, and it's up to them to make their choices if they want to be a part of your organization, to follow those and stay in line, or go somewhere else. When I first started with AO, I'll never forget hearing Sean say, um, I don't remember the exact quote, but, and there's a lot of Seanisms, Robin knows that. Um, but there is a quote that he used to say about uh, free up their future, free them up so that they can go pursue what they want to do. And that's always kind of stuck with me. And I think of it every time I'm on the verge of like having to fire somebody. It's like, just not working out. I'm glad you're here and getting this question answered by all of the different mentors that will be answering it, because it is so much easier to start off on the right path than to go back and fix it or to have to change that culture. But from my experience, having those core values with team focus and processes to hold people accountable will alleviate the problem of egos. Hopefully that helps. Okay, my next question is from AJ Couts. Hi, AJ. His question is, how would you pursue an overdue accounts receivable with a client? Background: a former client owes about 1.5 months of retainer for work performed in good faith. I've pursued this for about 2 months and they haven't responded to any inquiries. In hindsight, I shouldn't have carried on in good faith for nearly that long before ending the retainer, but I was caught off guard because things were running well, it seemed. What do you do in situations like this? Well, I think anybody who's been an entrepreneur for any particular amount of time has been in this exact same situation. And so, don't beat yourself up over that. It does happen. We just nip it as quickly as we can. Um, as human beings, we typically want to believe that people aren't going to screw us over. They're going to pay their bills. We believe what they're going to say. But in reality, it's a risk. It's a risk and it's part of doing business. So what I have in place is I have a collection agency. I don't like to use them because when they collect money, they keep a certain percentage. However, I would rather get a little bit than none at all. So what I do is when I reach a certain point with that customer, I will send them an email, and in the subject line, I will say pending collections in capital letters. And I use that basically says that if we haven't heard, if your account is not current by next Friday at the end of closing day, this account will be turned over to collections. Very diplomatic, basically states my position on needing to get paid. I pay other people and I expect to be paid as well. And that, I'll tell you what, we just had that happen with two different accounts. And I sent out this diplomatic email saying that if I didn't receive payment by the following Friday at the end of business day, they'd be turned over to collections. By Tuesday, both of those accounts, the checks were in the mail and I received payment by Friday. I don't like to do that, and you don't have to be mean about it or anything, or like Guido going, showing up and with your hand out. But they need to understand that it's business, and we were able to get that resolved with no problem. I got my payment. They're happy. I'm happy, and we still have an intact relationship. If they hadn't done that, I would have turned them over to collections and just kind of washed my hands of it. Let collections handle it. And then I go a step further, and we have within QuickBooks, we have in our terms, one of the terms is do not service. And so that way the other people on the team know that there was some kind of a problem and we're not doing work for that person anymore. Because, I mean, why bother doing the work if you're not going to get paid? Anyway, so hopefully that helps. That's what I do. The next question is Sean Drumgo. What are effective ways to market and sell to franchise organizations as a vendor? The background is I have a business that works with companies, organizations to manage their energy procurement in the US and Canada. We will perform an energy needs assessment based on site specific business data. I'm targeting franchises to maximize and the ability to scale. When applicable, we can also do feasibility studies to provide complete managed facility service, including solar opportunities. Okay, so I don't have much experience in this. I've never done anything with franchising, but from listening to other people and hearing other people's stories, I can say that if I were looking for effective ways to market and sell, I would be going onto Facebook and looking for specific groups that follow the type of product you're selling or wanting to sell. I would find the people within that group and start following them and hopefully develop kind of a rapport with them and see if that produces anything. I would also be more active on LinkedIn, and I would be going to trade shows. I know with COVID, trade shows is kind of it's not happening as much right now. I think some places are starting to have them again. But I would be getting on all those lists to get a notification of even if they're having an online networking event would be better than nothing. So that's what I would do. And if I was in your shoes also, I would be attending as many governmental sponsored webinars or Zooms or whatever. I would be attending as many of those as possible because when you attend those, you you tend to end up on other people's lists of who to like their contact list, and you can find other people too that might potentially be a franchise opportunity. So that's what I would do. But again, I have no experience in franchise. That's just kind of like off the cuff what I think I would do. So hopefully that helps. Next question is Heather Brockman. Hi, Heather. I hope you're doing well. Love you, girl. Question. When sending an employee for a drug test, is it best to have them accompanied by a member of management? Sorry. Background is I recently had an issue with an employee involving one of my vehicles. We have on-site drug tests, but I realized I need to have an option for sending her a facility for better accuracy. Is it best to have them accompanied by a member of management to ensure accuracy of the results? This doesn't seem to be a good use of time, but I also need to make sure the results would not be tainted at all. The elevator pitches we offer high-end holistic grooming experiences for busy pet owners whose animals are part of the family. I don't know that. Heather, no. I would never send management along with a drug test for a number of reasons. Number one, you're right. It is a waste of time that could be better utilized somewhere else. Number two, that person could still fake like a urine test. They could have a little container of urine in their purse. That management person is not going to go into the bathroom with them and watch them do their test. So it really is pointless. It's if somebody wants to cheat on a drug test, there is nothing you will be able to do to stop them from doing that. But what it does do is it covers your butt that, hey, I had them drug tested, they passed. Um, we do have drug testing here, and we have a program for it. We have a facility that we send them to. But I would never have anybody go with them. It's just the way it is. However, I always recommend you touch base with a local HR person, a consultant in your area, because I know you're in Texas and your laws might be a little bit different, and you might find some stuff out maybe, that only goes on in Texas. I'm not quite sure. Um, Another thing I would recommend if I were in your situation is you our HR emphasizes that we have to treat all employees equally. If we do not treat them equally, um, that's a potential lawsuit here in California. That is a potential like harassment lawsuit, and you definitely don't want to open yourself up to that. So you've got to uh, just make sure you treat all your employees the same. It will help you stay out of trouble. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Sorry, Heather. But no, I would never send my people. Okay, so my next question is from Paulina Beck. Asked, what is the best order in which offer and rejection letters be sent out in? The background is just had the accounting manager that I was looking to hire reject our job offer via text. Everything looked good and she was ready to start. I have no idea what happened. I already reached out to the second candidate that I liked, asking to set up a call on Tuesday. I'm looking to note the lesson on this. What is the best sequence to announce job offers? If I had to do it again, I am thinking that I would notify the candidate I want to pick first and give them a deadline. If they accept the offer, then I notify the other candidates that the position has been filled. If the candidate rejects the offer, select my second choice and notify them. I highly, highly, highly recommend with your offer letter having that deadline on there. I think I answered something similar to this last month too. And yes, I would definitely have a deadline on there. I typically will give them 2 or 3 days to a week to give me an answer back. Um, yeah. If they don't make the deadline, then that's their loss. And pretty much if you don't hear back once you've issued a deadline, um, yeah, I would just move on to the second one. Again, Marcia O'Connor's group has a great system put in place for this. I am now using their offer letter template, and I haven't hired anybody recently. We haven't had any good applicants that I could offer anything to. But the last offer letter I sent out, it did have a deadline, and the one thing I will caution you about though that happened with one of mine is that person did not get the email, and they ended up calling our office a day or two later after I had sent the offer letter asking what the status was, and I was grateful for that because of the fact I didn't know it wasn't received. And so I would highly recommend if you send that out by email, make sure you put your read receipt and your delivery receipt and read receipt, turn those options on and get those so that you can tell. And there might be another way. I know Sean um, always seems to know when somebody opens up their email. So there might be something you could do with that too. But I would definitely recommend that because that could happen and you could lose a potential good employee just basically from that happening. So anyway, I hope that helps. Definitely put a deadline on there. If they don't make the deadline, they're lost. Okay. And my last question is from Kristen Pitts. How do I learn to be happy in the present? Quote unquote, enjoy the journey. Background. Struggling to stay patient. I want my 10-year plan to be here already. Things are going great and progressing on course, no issues. Yet I feel depressed and I'm broke. I want to be happier. Um, oh, I'm with you on this one. So again, most of us entrepreneurs are so impatient. Like patience is not our thing. So I get that. What I'm wondering is if you could possibly do maybe a little side job that could make you some extra money so you're not feeling so depressed. With the market now, everybody's pretty much hiring, so you could find a little side job that is something you absolutely love doing or have fun doing, or something that could create that happiness. It is a constant battle though, and for me it requires me to constantly have that in the front of my thoughts to just smile and be happy. What's the alternative? The alternative doesn't really feel that good. So a few things I do to summon my fighting spirit is meditation, um, exercise. Exercise releases endorphins, which raises your mood immediately. So you could try out that. Also, just kind of journaling down the things that you're grateful for. Whether that's, writing down one thing a day and maybe sticking it in a jar to have it to look back on, or just kind of just yeah, just sitting there thinking about all the things you have done and have achieved and celebrating those little wins before you get to the really big win. Also, reading, it has helped me a lot, and I also listen to my favorite kind of music. I have a certain reggae artist that every time I hear her voice, every time I hear her songs, I'm automatically in a better mood and just happier overall, and that works for me. So hopefully some of those things will help you. But yeah, it's a constant battle, especially with the world being the way it is right now. It's so easy to be anxious about the future or depressed about the past. And so, yeah, it's up to us to just find those ways that trigger us to have those happy moments. Um, that was my last question. So I think I am done here. Kimberly, I see you. Hello. My it's not scanning down, so I'm gonna try and see if I had any actual questions on here. Hi, Holly. Yes, Robin. I think at some point you should probably write a book on Shauna's house. um. Oh, thank you. I'm glowing today. Kimberly said I'm glowing today. I'm not sure why. It's probably the lighting, but I'll take it. 50 years old, I'll take it. Anyway, I hope you all have a very wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you guys all in the group. Have a great day.